This episode has been brought to you by JustNForm.com. If you're tired of being censored, tired of having your data stolen and sold, go to JustNForm.com, a social media site where all voices are welcome.
Tulsi Gabbard has finally released her first campaign ad, and it is as amazing as you'd think. Take a look.
Like so many of you, it is painful and disheartening to see how much divisiveness is being fomented by those who wish to tear us apart. We have people in positions of power who are not thinking about the well-being of the people and our planet. Where is that conversation about the needs of our people? Where is the conversation about peace? Every time we launch these interventionist regime change wars, it is not only our veterans who pay the price for that. Every single one of us pays the price. We have spent trillions of your taxpayer dollars to pay for these wars, taking those dollars away from our communities and our people who need them right here at home. We are the ones who have the power to make change. It takes every single one of our hands, our hearts, and our voices, motivated by this love and aloha, to take on those forces and those obstacles that can seem too great to overcome. There is no force more powerful than love. This is how we come together as Americans. This is why we fight for the future that we hope will be so much brighter for those that we care about, for the country that we love.
So that was great. Now, here are a couple of key things I want to point out in the ad for anybody who is just now following Tulsi Gabbard. The discussion of regime change. That is something that I really cannot overstate and something that you cannot underestimate the importance of. See, we talk about not getting into proxy wars. Bernie Sanders did a good job of that. He even though he was lackluster in his response on Venezuela, he did once again say that he doesn't want to have American troops engage in any wars in Venezuela, or just in South America in general. But there's there's verbiage that you shouldn't be saying on national television and on the national campaign stage. And regime change is one of them, unless you're saying, I advocate for regime change. And Tulsi Gabbard has actually been against regime change for quite some time. And the reasons she lists in this video are the perfect example as to why, if there is anyone else that I believe is equipped to beat Donald Trump, it is the one woman who has stood against regime change, whether or not it was the Democrats advocating for it or if it was Donald Trump advocating for it. This is the lady who called Donald Trump Saudi Arabia's bitch for bending over to them and refusing to hold them accountable for anything. This is the lady who came out and said, hey, we're funding Al-Qaeda in Syria. And I tried to introduce legislation to stop it. So not only is she saying she's against regime change, she's also working hard to introduce legislation to prevent regime change. Who else can say that right now who is running for the president of the United States of America? There's also, out of all the candidates who've announced, right? Yang and Ojeda are good, right? They're okay. But out of all the candidates who have a chance of winning, you saw the clip of Tulsi Gabbard wrapped up in a hood in the middle of snow. That place is Standing Rock, North Dakota. I've went there. Many of the activists you probably know went there. Not as many journalists as you would have thought went there, but a few of us did. Tulsi Gabbard went. And for those of you who are strong Green Party supporters, Jill Stein and Jamu Baraka both went to North Dakota as well. But Tulsi Gabbard went. When Elizabeth Warren was telling people, let the workers work and the protesters protest. What does that even mean? You understand that the workers being able to continue to work is why the people are protesting. I don't know what. But once again, that's that middle of the road answer that Democrats always give us. They never stand for anything. In Tulsi Gabbard, you have to understand, she was going against the government. She was going against the government. Obama basically was like, let's see what happens, and then sent the Army Corps of Engineers after the people of Standing Rock. The cops got involved. A little girl lost her arm. Another woman lost her eye. And Tulsi Gabbard, Bernie Sanders spoke out. Tulsi Gabbard went there. When Tulsi says she advocates for peace, this isn't just something that she says out of, like it just because it sounds good in a commercial. She's not discussing moral platitudes. Tulsi Gabbard took herself, using her money, putting her integrity and her prestige on the line to go to Assad. And instead of just launching missiles every time we hear of an alleged chemical attack that is later proven to have never happened, Tulsi Gabbard sat down with Assad, said, explain to me what's happened. Walk through the streets of Syria. Just talk to the people. Talk to other people in his government. And what she found out, that many of the problems that are being perpetuated in Syria are not coming from the Assad government. They're coming from the quote unquote moderate rebels that once again end up becoming terrorists or are already terrorists. And these moderate rebels get their weapons and their funding from the United States. Tulsi called this out. Not only did she call this out on CNN and MSNBC when she was finally interviewed about it, because they were lashing out at her, but she also introduced legislation called the Stop Arming Terrorists Act, and subsequently introduced another piece of legislation called the Stop Funding Terrorists Act. Guess how many of your congressmen and senators discussed these bills? Very, 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 very few. I think it is important for us to realize that this ad is special because this isn't like she got a bunch of random feed and videos and clips from a campaign trail that she has already started. This is an accumulation of clips of the support she's gained in the actions that she has personally taken. When both sides of the establishment over the last 3 to 5 years have been trying their hardest to stomp her out. These supporters are here not because of who she was in 2014 and before. They're here because she made the conscious decision to evolve. And because of who she's been since that evolution, this is support that she has garnered before she had even announced running for office. This is support that she had garnered before the campaign trail has started ramping up. This is the support she has garnered from the policy she has advocated for and for the peace she has advocated for before she has ever stepped foot on a debate stage. So imagine when she gets to look at those senators, those congresspeople in the eye, and whoever else and says, I introduced legislation to deal with terrorism abroad that we were funding. Where was your voice? Where was your vote? I introduced legislation to address election fraud that you, Bernie Sanders, had suffered from. Where was your voice? Where was your vote? I've advocated for Medicare for all for you when no one else would. I introduced you when no one else would. Why? Whenever I needed you to stand with the people, were you silent? That doesn't only go for Bernie Sanders. That goes for Elizabeth Warren. That goes for Kirsten Gillibrand. I mean, not that I expected Kirsten Gillibrand to back this type of legislation. Neither do I expect Kamala Harris. But she gets to ask these questions. The question is going to be, oh, you met with Assad. Why did you meet with Assad? Then she's going to be able to ask for peace. Why wouldn't you meet with Assad? I'm telling you, this race is going to be a lot closer than what many people think. Would love to hear your thoughts. Leave your comments below. Thanks for watching that segment of Mi Casa es Su Casa. You can donate to our Patreon and keep helping the network grow by clicking on the link in the description below. And also, make sure you join us at JustNForm.com. And finally, make sure you subscribe to us on Roku and be part of the very first independent news network on Roku TV. But more than anything else, always remember, find your balance. Peace.